Hi, I'm Tim LeMasters. Welcome to Let's Talk Tax.
I'm Meg Kavener. Today we're doing a special bonus episode where we get to know our hosts. So we have Tim joining us today. Tim, can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm actually the director of our Alliance Network. So I spend a lot of time with our relationship managers across the country, educating our CPAs, having in-depth discussion with our CPAs, and just really maintaining the relationship. I'm kind of unique. I'm not from an accounting background. I have, spent 10, 11 years in a different profession and got the opportunity in 2017 to join McGuire Sponsel. And I'll tell you what, I haven't looked back since. So at that time, I was just a relationship manager in the Midwest, and I have grown to now working with all our team across the country.
So tell me what that was like from an outsider's perspective coming into the tax industry at McGuire Sponsel.
It could be a little bit intimidating. Tax is a lot, right? One thing I found out early that helped me is you're not going to know everything. So it was actually a conversation I was having over lunch, and was asking somebody that's been in the industry for a long time. I said, how did you get to know all these things about tax? And they said, you know what? Actually, I don't know everything. I know what I know. I'm very good at that, and I focus on those key attributes. So it was intimidating at first, but learning the things that I needed to know was important. So I did that early. About 6 months in, I started to really kind of get things together and understand what I was trying to accomplish. So over the years, it's grown. Obviously, our practices have grown. We started out, when I started here, we only had a few practice lines. Now we have more practice lines than that. And so the other thing that I learned is everything's always changing, right? So since I've started, we've had multiple updates, multiple legislations that have come through. So I just keep up with the times, and it's been great.
I will say, I think that's probably the best part about your perspective on this is being in sales. You deal with all the practice lines. You see the implications on legislative updates and what that means for businesses, whereas a lot of our technical experts, they only see within their practice line, whether that's R&D, location advisory, what have you, but you see it from all angles. Mm-hmm. What's that like?
Well, it creates some challenges, but it's my job to figure those out and try to, take it from when it comes from the CPA to the practice lines and help understand the entire picture of what we're trying to accomplish. So I'm learning from our practice leaders. I get the opportunity to kind of figure out what's coming, right? What's in the pipeline. And then I also have, on the other side, I have our relationship team that's meeting with CPAs, understanding what their challenges are, trying to figure out ways to bring those back to McGuire Sponsel and kind of bridge the gap, so to speak. So it's been great, right? I can tell you, I was employee number 27 back in 2017. So we're now at 100 people, well over 450, 500 CPA firms that we're working with, whereas back then we were about 120, 130 firms. So to see the growth of what we're trying to do here is satisfying. It's been a good journey so far.
You and your team probably have the best insight to common pain points and challenges for CPAs right now. So can you give us a sneak peek into some of, the hot topics that we'll be covering this season, or things that you're, most excited to talk about?
Sure. So, one of them is how to build your own, how to build a book of business. Okay. It's going to be kind of in depth with what the challenges they're having right now. Obviously, getting people is one of the main challenges, right? Getting people back to office is another challenge. I think there's some firms that have figured out this work from home environment. They've done a really good job with it. There's other firms that they like to get back into office because they think from a training, from a growth standpoint, it's going to help support that, right? So I think that's going to be a really key, point that we're going to go through. And then some of the other things, obviously, is tax legislation, some updates, some of the boring stuff that I won't be so much a part of. But I'll get to spend a lot of the time with our, some of the practice leaders, getting kind of in-depth conversations kind of about just growth. Okay, and so I look forward to those. But I'll also be in some of the tax stuff. But it's going to be an exciting first year for Let's Talk Tax.
So it's more than just those conversations. You're traveling. You're with CPAs face to face. From your perspective, from your lens, who's Let's Talk Tax best suited for, and why?
Wow, I think there's a wide range of people that it'd be suited for, but I think obviously our main focus is our relationships, our key relationships with our firms that we work with. I think there's a lot of, since we aren't direct to market, right? Most of our work comes from CPAs. I think their clients, right? The end user is what we call them, can obviously utilize Let's Talk Tax. And then from an LAS perspective, we do work with some brokers, developers. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for them to be educated with some of our practices. That sometimes those one-off conversations just don't make sense to them. So kind of going in depth with it and letting them listen to some of the things, that legislative stuff, some of the opportunities, whether it's a checklist or a tax planning guide or whatever we maybe go through, they're going to be able to kind of learn some more when it comes to what they could utilize from our services to take to their clients.
So really breaking it down and making it accessible to people who might not be within the tax industry.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So Tim, you're at our headquarters here in Indy. So what's one aspect of the firm's internal team that CPA and real estate professionals might not realize about McGuire Sponsel?
It's a good question. I think one thing that they may not realize is that we kind of have a diverse group of people, right? I think we obviously have CPAs on staff, people from accounting backgrounds. We have engineers from all walks, right? And then we have people like me, right, who are a relationship team, people that have come from, we've got people with teacher backgrounds. Just depends on kind of where they fit best inside the firm. So I think that's one thing that some people don't, some firms and other people outside of McGuire Sponsel don't understand about us. The other thing is it's the multiple offices, right? We hear that, you're in Phoenix, so you only work there. Well, no, we're in Phoenix, but we work in the Northwest. We work in the Southwest, right? We cover multiple states in those areas. So I think that's one area of confusion. And then our fixed assets practice. Yes, there is cost segregation underneath the fixed assets practice, right? I know you being on your side, you've had some frustration when it comes to that. So yes, we do cost segregation as well.
Perfect. And it's not just Phoenix, right? We have offices all over the country.
Yeah, Dallas, Indy, Atlanta. We have Detroit.
Yep. Jason
and Greg out of Detroit. So obviously that's our GBS. They lead our GBS team. And then what's interesting is right outside of my office here in Indy is their entire team that's underneath them. So
yeah, people from different tenures, practice line experience. We've been very strategic in how we open offices. So that way you're not just getting someone from fixed asset, within your time zone. You have a team of people from different practice lines, different seniority levels. They're available to assist you.
We've been very fortunate to have people that obviously were in a position here in the Indy headquarters to take an opportunity at another location. So it's nice to have those tenured people there, right? Connecting the dots and making sure the culture is the same across all offices is very important to McGuire Sponsel. So I know the shareholders have done a really good job of positioning people. I think that, I look at Kara Shalley. Kara was here in Indy, right? Spent a lot of time here in Indy, and she's, very qualified on the R&D team. And there was an opportunity that opened up in Phoenix. And they looked to her and said, hey, before we ask anybody, we want to see if this is best suited for you. And obviously she took that opportunity and ran with it. And Phoenix office is obviously thriving. So we have fully staffed in all offices, obviously, from a production standpoint. But it is nice to have those tenured people that were willing to go to those locations and help grow those offices.
And that's what viewers can expect from Let's Talk Tax. We're going to have guests on the show from different practice lines, from different offices in different states, sharing their experience, what they're seeing, legislative trends, business trends, everything like that. So Please stay tuned.
Absolutely.
Lastly, Tim, what are you most looking forward to for 2024?
Obviously, the Let's Talk Tax podcast is exciting, right? I get to be a part of a lot of different conversations throughout the year in it. I'm also excited for some of the growth from some of our younger relationship managers. They're working really hard in their markets. They're spending a lot of time with their relationships. I get to go out and meet some of the new relationships. I've had this Midwest market for a long time, and I spent a lot of time in there, and really kind of built some really strong relationships to a point to where we're, text basis. So it's awesome. Now I'm getting to see other people be able to succeed in the same way. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, I'm looking forward to hopefully some sort of legislative update that we're going to probably roll out on the Let's Talk Tax podcast as soon as we hear something, just because 174 has been such an issue for our relationships and for the end user and our clients. So it's something that we definitely look forward to. Hopefully there's being some sort of adjustment. Bonus depreciation's in there as well. But I'm just kind of interested to see how kind of the year goes, and I look forward to help our team continue to succeed.
Yeah, and you've got a few fun conferences planned this year, right?
I wouldn't, fun, yes. But yeah, no, I do. I'm actually, so we did some restructuring here and kind of looked at the conference list and kind of figured out, okay, who are we sending these? We were very strategic with it in 2024. So I think the thing about the conferences that I enjoy the most is getting to see the connections that, if I go a couple months with someone, out west, maybe I didn't get to see somebody in the Midwest, but then you go to the conference, then everybody's there. So it's great to see all of us.
Yeah. So viewers, if you ever see Tim at one of the conferences out and about, please go up to him, ask him all your questions, give him any recommendations you have for the show. We'd love your input. We want to make this as applicable as it is to all CPAs and businesses in the industry. So please provide your feedback. And Tim is accessible on social media. He's got LinkedIn. You can find his email or anything on our website, McGuireSponsel.com. So please send him any questions that you have.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough to do.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.